my cats wanted to go for a walk. 1, 2, 3. And I'm sure there will be more. Well, actually, I know that Perry was sleeping. Percy's already probably wherever he is. He's the one that's the most outdoorsy. I suppose I should warn people right off the bat that I feel a rant coming on. And it's triggered by a comment that I just got, like, I don't know, half an hour ago maybe, probably less, on one of my old videos. Somebody telling me that me explaining borderline people who have borderline personality disorder, who are untreated and are off the rails, calling them out on that and advising people with avoidant personality disorder to avoid this because it's going to screw up your life. They are toxic to people with avoidant personality disorder, and actually most people, let's be real. But me saying this is quote unquote damaging, and I'm just like, oh my God. I mean, okay. Y'all have heard my background. You have heard my not so recent history. And you've heard my just a couple weeks ago history of dealing with people who are abusive. And yes, it's really difficult to stand up and say this is abuse once you've been in it, especially if it's somebody who you love. And especially when you've got a family that wants you to keep everything secret and not to tell what's going on in the family. By the way, when somebody insists that it's secret, sure enough, there's something screwed up in whatever that relationship is, obviously. Except not so obviously, especially when you were born into a family situation. These cats, they can tell. They're all meowing at me. I'm either going too fast or they can tell that I'm annoyed. Anyway, it's just a fact, okay? So, Ethics 101 is this. If you've actively done something to hurt me, and I call you out on it, then you have no right to say, oh, you're hurting me by telling me this. Duh. So guess what? It doesn't matter at all if somebody with borderline personality disorder thinks it's damaging to be called out on their bullshit because they're being abusive and causing harm and pain to other people. They're doing it first, and it doesn't matter that they don't think that they can control it. I know for a fact that is bullshit because I've actually known too many borderline people. Again, borderline people are always attracted to avoidant personality disorder people because they feel that they can control them, because it's like perfect for them. Somebody that will give them all the attention that they want, and they're not going to leave. Which, by the way, that's not just me being a jerk. That's actually, they've done studies on it. And, yes, the terrible psycho people who are the quote-unquote experts say it, but even those who are more even-keeled say it too. That as a group, people with avoidant personality disorder are one of the least likely people to leave an abusive situation. So perfect for somebody with borderline who wants to be abusive. I don't know where the cats are. They were back there meowing. I must be going too fast for them. Whatever, don't care. Like I said, I'm annoyed. So yeah, guess what? Doesn't matter if, quote unquote, you feel it's damaging to be hit with the truth. You need to be hit with the truth and hit again and again and again until it sinks in and you actually do something instead of sitting there being afraid of the process or, oh my gosh, it's going to take so much work. So what? Gonna have to do it. But that's like old news. I've said all that over and over again. Here's the thing. I've said that it feels like there's a black mark on my soul. Okay, not feels like. That there is a black mark on my soul. Okay? And that is the avoidant personality disorder. And I've said, I don't know that I've actually broken it down. I have in therapy. I have to other people. I don't think I have in video because, again, it's, well, not again, but because it is. It is too personal because if I'm actually talking about me interacting with an actual, real live, another human being, I can't imagine that they could, be doxxed. They could be found out. But there's a chance. And I would never want that. So, I don't think I've actually broken it down. But I have proof based on how people treat me and where I stand on sort of like a hierarchy, meaning way down the bottom, despite my actions that are positive. I think that's a cat. It's two cats. Can you see them? No, too far away. Oh, might be kittens in the neighborhood soon. Anyway, somebody's coming. I think that's Percy. Except it looks black, so maybe it's Pixie. But it is a black cat. Do you hear them? Lots of cats around. No. This is the cat that's not my cat. No, it is. This is my Pixie. Why are you here? And there's Poppy, and where the heck did he come from? I don't understand. Anyway, I'm obviously not paying attention to cats. So I have at least two of my cats here. And there's two other cats up there. I'm ignoring them. I'm being bad cat mother. Alright, I'm just gonna hang out by the tree. Because this might wallop y'all. And it's, again, if you've heard, there's another one of my cats. That's Percy. I think he's around somewhere. If you've heard me in all of my videos, again, this is probably going to be something that you're like, huh. Except I sort of put two and two together, connected the dots. Here's the thing. Based on how I am treated by people who benefit from and I'm not just talking about my kid. If it was just my family, then I would be like, oh, well, I've got them out I'm not even talking about them, because they, they're definitely a special case, because they're actively involved in continuing and manufacturing my hierarchy level, let's put it that way. But people who are not invested at all, who there's no reason for them whatsoever to, it just doesn't matter to them whatsoever. And they still will do the same thing. Somebody who is wreaking havoc in their life, say borderline type behaviors or alcoholic type behaviors, that sort of thing. Well, those people get coddled and cared. Hey, Percy. Whereas me, when, I'm not going out of my way to be negative and a negative force in their life and cause chaos and all that nifty stuff. On the contrary, I'm doing everything I can to try to help them. I'm absolutely dismissed and not in any way, shape, or form credited with anything, first of all, and second of all, I'm just bottom of the totem pole. And like I said, I don't know where the rest of them went. They're all hiding in the shadows. They're around. Anyway, so I've been over this before. Oh no, that's Poppy. He's gone exploring someplace and gotten lost. Oh well, he'll hear me talking and come back. She was in the shelter for 2.5 months and never made a sound. They said she was super quiet. Super quiet. Here's the thing. Now, this could be somewhat an issue of extroversion versus introversion, because I live in the United States, and in Western culture, extroversion is like definitely the preferred, of the two. Preferred, I don't know what you'd call it. Preferred personality trait, I guess. Extroversion over introversion. Maybe that has something to do with it. But this kind of proves it's exactly the same, So it's exactly the same as my personal hierarchy, where I say, okay, well, obviously I'm lower than, pick a terrible person, because they've gotten people to help and take care of them and care for them, and I'm, doesn't matter what I do, I get like dumped on. So, see, I'm going to be a brat when I say this. I don't really care. But I do care, or else I would spit it out already. This comment I had on my video, saying that it's so damaging to point out that borderlines are toxic, right? Here's the thing. When a borderline person... Ooh, there's another one of my cats down there. When a borderline person does anything to try to control their toxic, horrible behaviors, they are lauded, they are celebrated, people think they are the most fantastic, awesome thing for making the tiniest little bit of effort. Same with drug addicts and alcoholics. And the example I use over and over again is Glennon Doyle, who drives me crazy because, well, first of all, there is this group of people that their entire life and career is doing autobiographies over and over again. I'm not against all of them. I think Augustine Burroughs is absolutely hilarious. And hit or miss, but I think his autobiographies are worth reading. I do read Glennon Doyle. I don't know why. I think just because it's trendy to read her. And I read a lot. I read a lot. So nearly all books, if they are, I would say 80% of books, when they become super popular, I end up reading them. I avoid truly violent, horrible things. Like, I did not read, or whatever was that one, 50 Shades of Grey. Sorry, never read it. Although I told one of my therapists that I read Of Human Bondage. Fantastic friggin' book. It's written in the late 1800s, I think. Oh my goodness, it's a brilliant book. She's like, Of Human Bondage, I knew you were into that. I was like, oh my god, no. Anyway, beside the point. Way beside the point. Anyway, so Glennon Doyle writes these books. She's one of these people who've made a career out of writing her autobiography. I don't get it, over and over and over again. Nobody's life is that exciting, But she seems to think, first of all, there's number one, extreme ego. And extreme extroversion. And she expects to have a pat on the back just because she is not destroying her life, destroying her family's life, destroying her children's life, destroying her own physical body, and is not doing drugs and being an alcoholic anymore. And again, lauded and celebrated, and isn't that amazing, and isn't that great? And yes, I understand it's difficult. Okay, I know I'm being callous here, but I get it's difficult. But on the other side, people with avoidant personality disorder, when people recognize that there's something going on, they don't like it about as much. I mean, it's not as extreme. It's not getting in anybody's face like borderline or an addict that's making life hell for people. Avoidant personality disorder is kind of a quiet disorder. It affects people with the disorder way more than it affects other people. Hi, Purse. And don't even say, well, that's the difference, because that's not. I mean, if somebody is actually, if they care, and they know, I mean, the people who who listen to these videos over and over again, there's quite a few of you that listen to everything I put up on YouTube, which is kind of scary. But I mean, you're kind of invested in this. And it's not like I'm around you in real life and, acting scarce and, actively affecting your life. And yet, you don't like hearing what's going on. And you do like hearing when I make progress about this, that, or anything. The Zoom really does not work at night. There's Poppy trying to get squished in the middle of the street. Anyway, so here's the point. When somebody with avoidant personality disorder makes progress, they're not lauded. They're not celebrated. They're not congratulated. They're usually still in the most given a backhanded compliment, usually is definitely pointed out that, oh, you are still not normal, you're still not doing things normally. And again, they're not even affecting anybody else in a negative way. I mean, you would think that if somebody was an alcoholic and was still drinking but decided to stop driving, somebody would say, yo, you're still screwing up everybody's life by drinking like this. Come on, okay, good progress now. Hurry up and get better. Good, you stopped driving. Good for you. Now stop drinking too. You would think that was what... No. People don't do that. People like, oh my God, it's miraculous. They did so much effort and so much work to not be 100% a jerk, but to be just 95% of a jerk. Same with borderline. Oh my God, you didn't actually destroy somebody's life by coming down on them like a ton of bricks and trying to manipulate them and all this other stuff. Wow. Good for you. That's what people do. That's what people say. This is the difference that I'm talking about. That is the black mark. Even though avoidance, unless you're like actively trying to date somebody with avoidant personality disorder, unless it's a situation where they have kids and they can't, go participate in school meetings or something like that. Unless it's something like that. Then, hi Pans, she doesn't usually come this far. She's the one with a heart murmur. Anyway, I'm still zoomed in too. All four of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. And they're going to start fighting. Because there's like See? They just can't be near each other. They're such brats. Anyway, I don't know if I'm being clear. I'm being really disjointed. This is something that is as obvious as the nose on my face. So it's really hard to actually describe it, because it's describe what your tongue tastes like. It's one of those type of situations to me. But when there is the same pattern that happens, on a personal level, and then it also happens on a macro level in society, then it's not a one-off. That's how the world operates. The world operates by putting people with avoidant personality disorder, I would say second-class citizens, but it's worse than that. It's less than that. So, it's the black mark. It's how people... You can't see any of them. I'm actually in light out here. It's too bad. It's how people treat people with avoidant personality disorder. You can't make a little progress and get any kind of credit for it all. They want you back to normal. Period. And anything less than total normality, which is not possible for somebody with a personality disorder, for avoidant personality disorder, if you're not back to normal, then you don't get any credit at all for making progress. Whereas, if you're borderline or an alcoholic or narcissistic, oh my goodness, when people who are narcissists make progress, it's like the angels came down and sang hallelujah and the whole world rejoices. I mean, this is something that they like discuss on the news and everything. If a narcissist has actually made any progress toward being less narcissistic and less destructive. But again, they'll never ever give credit to somebody with avoidant personality disorder, and that is the black mark. That is what I'm talking about. It's damaging to point out how difficult it is for a person with avoidant personality disorder to say, get a job, or make a friend, or have a relationship. And yet, it's permanently thrust into their faces. Never ending. I'm going to try to get these cats back. They're not supposed to go on neighbor's yard, although I was sitting on the neighbor's yard. Almost anything else. When people make progress, then you get some kind of acknowledgement and credit. You don't get immediately dumped on again for not being perfect. And again, it seems the people who are the worst, they're also their own best cheerleaders, of course. And they're like, aren't I the greatest thing? Aren't I the best? Look, I made this minimal effort. Everybody think I'm great. I know they're not all like that, but there are a lot of them like that. And there's a lot more people who are willing, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get why some people are automatically better and more important and higher in a hierarchy. And that is why some person who I really want to put a judgmental negative term to would think ever that a person's personal feelings could ever trump actual abuse they've done to somebody else. Like, oh, but it hurts my feelings to be told that I actually, screwed your life up. Okay, well, guess what? If it hurts your feelings to hear that, stop screwing people's lives up. But no, I don't care that you think it's damaging to hear the truth about your destructive behavior. You don't want to hear about your destructive behavior, don't do it. Easy peasy. Even if it's not easy for you. That's how it is. And yet, these people, not just this one, but most of them, and the entire society of the world, seems to think that that's valid. Like, you can't say something. The worst is, don't put a mirror up to me and make me see what I'm doing unless I want you to do that. Like, what? No. Who are you kidding? It doesn't matter if it's quote unquote damaging to somebody's feelings to hear the truth about them, when the truth is you're destructive to other people, you're damaging to other people, and you have to get better. You have to learn to behave better. You have to. You know? If somebody takes a glass and smashes it on the floor, it doesn't matter, even if it just slipped out of their hands. What's more important? Their feelings that maybe, they were inadequate or they did something wrong, or the reality that there's broken glass on the floor and somebody could cut their foot. Because that's exactly the same thing. For somebody to say, oh, it's damaging for you to tell the truth about somebody with avoidant personality, somebody with avoidant personality disorder, but also somebody with borderline personality disorder. Yes, it's damaging for somebody with borderline to hear what the effect is that their behavior has on somebody with avoidant personality disorder. That's a good thing in my mind, because that means maybe you'll finally pull your head out of your ass and actually do something to be a better person. Curb your behavior and make this world a better place. And if you don't, it's your choice to be an asshole. In which case, you should be treated as a person who's making a choice to be an asshole. I get it's hard. But, in this world where there's participation trophies and, the kids are going to have their little soccer matches, but we're not going to keep track of the score because it's going to hurt somebody's feelings if they lose. I mean, come on. By the way, 1, 2, 3, 4, and Perry's asleep in the house. I don't know. I don't get it. I really wish that somebody could explain, other than there's a black mark in the soul of people that have avoidant personality disorder. I mean,